Hello and welcome to today's episode of Two Pigs in a Pod, a podcast for the people of glazing by the people of glazing. I'm your host George, and I'm delighted to welcome onto the show today the director of First Folding Sliding Doors, Danny Creese. Welcome to the show, Danny.
And Enjoy The View. That's our new rebrand.
Oh, nice. Well, there are two brands for one in one podcast episode.
I know, right?
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on the show. And yeah, who are you and what do you do within our industry, as you already explained?
Well, we were First Folding Sliding Doors for 23 years, I think it is.
Nice.
And we rebranded last October purely because we just needed we had a new showroom, or have a new showroom, shall I say.
Yeah.
And I thought it was quite important. Well, the team, it's not just me, I got pushed into it, actually, to be totally honest with you. To have a rebrand, because First Folding really is not a great name, but it's obviously been out there. You're always a bit nervous when a company has been out in the industry, especially this industry, for so long. So, we had a rebrand, and I'm the director, and I'm the one that has the sleepless nights every day of the week.
Yeah. And taking it back to the start, how did you get into this industry? You said that the first company has been around for 22 years, but you've been in it longer yourself. So yeah, how did you get started?
Oh God, I was going to be everything when I was younger, by luck really. But I ended up through football, through everything. I ended up doing a carpentry course.
Okay.
And my best friend actually, Scott, he was working for Anglian Windows down in Devon, where I'm from.
Yeah.
And he basically needed someone to help him become a team. And so I soon learned how to take out windows and fit windows, and we became a brilliant team. But for young men in those days, it was quite a good thing. But I never really planned to stay in it very long. But it's sort of like, I don't know, it's sort of like got me because for me, especially, it was during the job satisfaction. Because look, everyone in the glaze industry will have good fitters and bad fitters, and we were a good fitting team. I mean, we were perfectionists. We could communicate with the customers, which always helped. We used to, when we get there, we'd not just dust the place, we'd hoover it out afterwards. We'd even polish certain things. So when people, it was like a proper service, and we took so much pride in it. And for young men, that was a big thing, because most young men are they like to get in and out as quickly as possible. And we worked hard, and we did really well. We had some good money in those days. And then I'll keep it short, I could go on forever. But then I moved to London. I met my wife at the time, and I ended up moving to London. My dad was dying as well, who lived in Hertfordshire. So I ended up coming up and met a guy called Marcus. And he had a company called Conservatories and Windows Direct. Nice. And it was fitting box sash windows, wooden ones. It was very hard, different lifestyle in London compared to Devon, because you can't park anywhere, big apartments. It was just so stressful. But again, and dare I say it, but he had fitters that weren't quite as good, but they could fit 5-6 box sashes in a day. And I couldn't understand how. And I had this young lad with me at the time, and I just couldn't understand. I was struggling to get 2 done, but the 2 were done properly. The whole service, like I was saying to you before, and like you could put, even with the mitre joints when you're doing the architraves, you couldn't even put a cigarette paper in there. It was just, I was so obsessed with my OCD to get it spot on, and it soon dawned on me that the others weren't doing it quite as good.
Yeah.
So won't go into great detail. Marcus said to me, "Will you fit this product? It's called a folding sliding door. I got it from Germany," and he said, "Fit it." And I fitted it. Yeah, it was really interesting. But I thought, God, this will be rare. Yeah. And then I can't remember, to be honest, did we set the company up then, or did we? I think Marcus met Neil Ginger, the CEO of Origin, and a guy called Ray, who at the time, between the two of them, they're the ones that started it, with Vicky in the background at that stage. And they had a bifold, which they were like, it was almost like, it wasn't like a prototype per se, because they'd taken it to a certain level because they wanted it for their swimming pools, because they were fed up waiting for the long lead time with the swimming pools. And so I remember fitting it, and I remember thinking, this is why we bother it. I'll never forget it. It just goes to show what I knew. And anyway, we fitted it, and then met Neil, and Neil was very good, and Ray. And we set the company up First Folding Sliding Doors, because Folding Sliding Doors was the name. Bifolds was 2-door, trifolds was 3-door. And but they were called folding sliding doors, and we used the number 1 ST because that would put you in the yellow pages as the first.
Right
So
at the
it's
top.
like marketing wasn't genius, I think everyone did it. You see a lot of firsts, but we fitted these doors, and it became very apparent that there was a market for it if you market it properly.
Nice.
And so we literally used to go to Ingleford Green with Neil Ginger, making them with Ray. We used to wrap them all up, pack them up, and we'd fit them. And so for the first year, we were just fitting so many bifolds, and the company got bigger and bigger, as well as Origin got bigger and bigger. And so then we also did the Sunflex Germany ones as well, which were good doors at the time. So you had the Origin and the Sunflex. They were the best 2 door systems at the time.
Nice.
And we just literally got bigger. Then we got more teams, and then eventually I came off the tools, and we got, I think at one stage where before COVID, I think we had 20 teams, fitting teams, and crew, and 4 service engineers. But that's essentially where we are today.
Yeah. Do you miss being on the tools?
Do you know what I do? I mean, I'm 50 now, so my body isn't what it used to be. But I do. I tell you what I loved about being on the tools is the job satisfaction. It's in the cut, because you see the whole process, but you never see the end per se. Well, you can, but you don't really. It's not every day when you're fitting, especially now when we're doing a lot of the structural glazing. You see the wow factor, and then the customers' reactions and things like that. But I do. I mean, I'm a physical person, so I do miss that side to it. But unfortunately, it's just not needed anymore. Well, fortunately, probably for a lot of people. But
yeah. It's been a success. So that need you elsewhere now.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah, everywhere.
Going back to the start, you said about that first job, and it was that customer service that you gave of cleaning up after yourself and really giving the customer. Do you think that's stuck with you throughout your building
Always.
of your companies, that you even from that first job you knew what the service that you needed to provide?
Yeah, especially in the early days, because nowadays I would say probably about 80%, no, probably about 70% of the work now is what we class as new build. So you're going into a new build. So, but in those days, especially, you're going into someone's house, and when you're in someone's house, I mean, I know what I'm like in my house. If I have someone come over to fix a sky or anything, I get paranoid. Do you know what I mean? I just, you don't make sure the shoes are off, and don't touch this, don't knock this, don't scratch that. And if you have that mentality, but I do think it's very hard to instill in people. You can keep telling people. You can normally tell straight away if that person's very conscious about it. But yes, the answer to your question is very much so. And I think that is throughout the company. I think you care about people's lives, their time off they take to actually arrange for you to be there, the quality, we just care throughout. And it's very frustrating sometimes, because when you do this amount of work, and people, you can't please everybody. And as we know, there's customers, there's great people out there, but there's also people that are not quite so great. No matter what you do, it's never good enough. And sometimes when you feel that, you just bend over backwards to help them. I'm sure anybody that's in my position in the industry, whether it's manufacturing or installation or just selling everything, it does get to you, because you always try to do your best. And that that's so important. But then when people imply that you don't, it really hurts. And even now, I take it too personally. Not personally as in I get angry. I get anxiety from it, to be truthful. But I've learned to let go a little bit. But you have to when you do over 1,000 jobs a year, right? But generally we do our very best. But human error comes into place. But yes, answer to your question is absolutely. I think finishing off is. I mean, you can have the best fitters in the world, but if you don't finish off properly, it's pointless.
Yeah, that is that last part, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's same as when you're going to someone's house, like, that little extra bit, getting a vacuum cleaner, hoovering, just putting the furniture back for them, showing them how it was, and just communicate with them. It gives you that little bit of an edge that, probably separates you from the less so good companies.
Yeah, nice. And going back to start again, was there any sort of particular moments, like you said, you wasn't planning to be in this industry for as long as you have been? Was it meeting Neil and Ray that sort of said that you could see yourself long term?
Do you know what? It was the bifolds that gave me a new lease of life, because I'll be truthful with you. Doing box sash windows, the vertical sliding sash windows, is hard work. And bifolds going into people's houses, normally the ground floor, and something that was very popular, you think, oh, this is good, this has got
Yeah.
potential. So yes, it did give me a new lease of life, and having a good relationship with companies, like you said, Origin, I've known since day dot. So
Yeah.
they helped us grow, but we certainly helped them grow, especially in the early years because we had
Yeah.
constant orders coming through. So yes, that did give me a new lease of life. Not that I needed it at such a young age, but it was something that really I was quite proud of. Do you know what I mean? I thought, what we
Yeah.
found, because any walk of life, whether you're in the bank industry or whatever you do in the glazing industry, you need something that's like something that's going to make you money, and something that you think people want. And also on top of that, something that's quite unique in those early days. I remember when we did the Ideal Home Show and all the shows, and I could not believe when we'd have them on display the public reaction for it. It was like, bloody hell, it was like, look what we found. And I know
Yeah.
everyone jumps on the bandwagon, but because we were one of the first companies to do it, it was it was quite rewarding, especially in the early days.
Yeah. Did it come with, I'm going to ask you a question about challenges now of setting up your own business, but was that the biggest challenge, that it was a new product at that time, and you, as
Listen,
much as you liked it and you thought it'd be a success, there was no guarantee that it would,
oh,
take off as
no,
it did.
listen, I'm probably the worst person. I am always fearful of everything. Whenever it goes well, I'm not negative. I'm quite a positive person in some ways, but
Yeah.
I'm also, I don't like people see my negativity, but I worry about everything. Like
Yeah.
even the economy now, I'm always constantly worried. But I think that's what keeps me on my toes.
Yeah.
If I ever thought, I walk around, we've made it, this is brilliant, we've done this, nah,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be me.
They say you can't stand still because
No,
you end up going backwards.
well, that's why we got the showroom. And to be fair, the directors that come on board a few years ago, they're the ones that were pushing me to do it, because you know it, we have this fantastic products, fantastic fit and fantastic company, but I never really wanted to spend massive amount on a showroom or rebrand it. I'm just, because I was thinking, you know what, I don't want to be spending this. And it's just, you get set in your ways, and all of a sudden you realise you're nearly 50 and you think, Jesus Christ, I'm set in my ways, like Marcus was, my former business partner, who was a massive influence on me. But yeah, sorry, what was the question again? I forgot, rabbit and on.
Well, it was just about the challenges of launching a
Oh
business
yeah,
and
well,
launching a product that potentially wasn't going to take off, we didn't
yeah,
know it was
well,
going to do it at the time.
yeah, and that is a gamble. And you're dead right. And those early days they were tough. I mean, even because we were a bit backward, and Marcus won't mind me for saying this, but Marcus and myself were the best things about the company. But I wouldn't even say Marcus was the character.
Yeah.
He would do a lot of the selling. I would deal with more of the installations and deal with the selling, but he was another level, very character. Everyone in the industry would know Marcus was. He was or is, he's not dead. Do you know what I mean? He is such a charismatic, unique character. I mean, I can't explain him, but he's very old fashioned and he's very
Yeah.
set in his ways. And we used to have a battle all the time. But you know what? A lot of his ways were actually great.
Yeah.
He was always, he didn't want to expand very much. I'd always maximize what we have rather than bring in new ideas, CRM systems. I mean, you wouldn't know what CRM system is today, even. But his was communication with the customers, and that is the one thing we've always done. Is myself and Marcus, we've always kept in communication with the customer. We work longer hours than all the fitters. I mean, I
Yeah.
still get in I still leave my house 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I leave the office about 7:30, 7:30. And we've
Yeah.
been doing that. Marcus even used to be here till 10, 11 o'clock in the evening and be here at 4 in the morning. We've
Wow.
always been working longer hours, but those days are not great for the company because the infrastructure of the company is based on personnel too much.
Yeah.
And we realized it become too, well, I did more than him. He was happy with it, but it's too reliant on us. And to have a good company, you've got to have better systems, better infrastructure
Yeah.
where you can go away. Like now I can go on holiday and the company still runs itself, where before
Yeah.
I'd be literally, I hated it. I hated just going away because you're constantly on your phone. You're always getting anxiety. What's happening in this? And again, that's all about your staff. And I believe we've got some of the best staff we've ever had now. So yeah, and the infrastructure, of course.
Yeah, nice. And what's been your, coming on podcasts like this and obviously talking about your career and stuff, what's been your proudest moments, do you think?
Do you know what? I saw that question because I said to you I didn't prepare, but I just had a quick look at the questions. And that is a very hard one because if you were to pick any, yeah, well, I think if you pick any individual, it doesn't. I think I constantly get proudest moments where I look at something. I go, oh my god, this is it. I love this. Like the bifolds in the early days. Then it was, bifolds on a frameless corner, or sorry, bifolds 90-degree moving corner. Then it was structural glazing. Then 20 mil sliders, and then and then you're doing window seats, and then you're doing glass valleys with big crane jobs going across. There's so many jobs that you keep evolving. So I always think if the answer to the question is, I love the way we evolve, that that's the best thing. We're not set in our ways. We're evolving all the time as a company.
Yeah. And do you think that keeps you motivated as well? You're 30
Yeah.
years into your career now within the sector, that you keep doing new things and keep doing bigger things, that's the motivation now for you, is that evolution of the company.
Yes, paranoia, always trying to stay on top. Um, but yes, that is the motivation. Always stay on top. And I like it. I like evolving. I like seeing new things. I think you can easily. Hence why we got the showroom, and it's nice to keep evolving, keep improving. Was it my granddad used to say to me? You sit still. You stand still. You fall backwards, and it's so true.
Yeah.
Eventually you will. So you got to keep moving forward. But yeah, it is. I love it. It keeps me motivated. Love
Nice.
it. You know what? I'd probably say love it's probably changed to. I'm not going to lie. I can't say I love it every day because it is a major
No,
part of my life. It is
no, of
on my
course.
brain 24/7. I
Yeah.
look at other company directors and they've got it sussed. I'm always jealous of them how they manage to get other people just to. And I've got the people. It's not like I haven't got it. But it's in me. I can't let go completely.
Yeah.
I always have to know what we're selling, what we're fitting, what we're doing, what's happening. It's just me. So
Yeah.
me personally, I struggle to switch off, and that's my biggest downfall. But yes, the motivation is always there.
Yeah, nice. And obviously, you mentioned about the showroom, the new showroom that we saw at PiGs. We're speaking off air about the Origin Discovery Day. Like, how's it been in those first, well, less than a year, but how's it been to have a brand spanking new showroom to show off?
So yeah, love it. Best thing we ever done. I mean, the location is unbelievable,
Yeah,
and the showroom we didn't hold back. We really spent an absolute fortune on it, but we wanted to make it so it was where people can just come. You can have a conference meeting. You can have, I know it sounds stupid, but we didn't have a coffee machine in our last place. It really
yeah,
was. I mean, how we did so well for so many years is beyond me. Really, I still to this day don't know. But yeah, you come in here now. It's spacious. You've got the office in the background. You can see them working. You've got frameless, huge 20 mil sliders. We've got switchable glass, heated glass, Origin bifolds, Origin section.
yeah,
We've got a Luco section, and it's just and we get a lot of walk-ins, which is something we've never had before. So it's really
yeah.
helping with the business that side to it. We get more walk-ins than we do appointments, which is fantastic.
Nice. And do you think that's because of your location? Obviously, London's, normally with showrooms, they're sort of on industrial estates and things like that. But you obviously purposely made it to be in, a main road in London. Like, do you think that has helped elevate your brand to hopefully new levels even more so?
Yes. Yeah, and the fact that we've rebranded it Enjoy The View, but we got the cat and the dog looking out of a view,
Yeah,
it's a big, huge sign going across. So I mean, I think someone said when we bought this, I think the estate agent said there was 32,000 people on average every day going past.
wow.
So you can imagine for marketing purposes, just seeing the
Yeah, yeah,
sign and getting the rebrand out there. But I kept the first folding to the right of it as well, purely because I didn't want people to think we've gone bankrupt, because that's normally what happens with these sort of things. It's
yeah,
actually a genuine rebrand, and I will keep the first folding for many years, just because you don't have a company like that and just completely put it into existence. You want to keep the name out there still. But yeah, so the Enjoy The View showroom, and the amount of people that drive past, the amount of people looking at it, it's great for marketing, getting the name up there. And it's just great for just people going, like literally the amount of people that send us an email, we drive past, or we drove past rather, and we just want to just get a quote from you, or can we pop in? It's been brilliant. Yeah, it's been really, really, I'm more than pleased with it, especially in the current climate as well. It's quite
yeah.
surprising how busy we are.
Nice. And obviously, you've mentioned Origin a few times there. How important is that partnership with Origin, for your company. Obviously, it was at the start of the business, and it's
Yeah.
carried on throughout it.
Well, Origin, I've said this before. Origin are a great company, and people think I've got shares in Origin because of the way I talk about them, but it's not. I mean, I've got a personal relationship with all of the owners there, and I mean, I don't speak to them so much nowadays, but in the early days, we had, it was a friendship, and it was helping one another. I mean, we were, I remember I was on the tools, and I'd say to Neil, I said, Neil, this is not working. These plastic caps keep breaking, and they would
Yeah,
change them. They'd try this. So, we really helped them massively
yeah,
in the early days, but they helped us as well, because if you've got a product that you can get turned around, especially Daniel Baker, who's the managing director now,
yeah,
he changed a lot of the setup there, which really evolved that company. Their lead time, or our lead time, not theirs, and that helped us. So we, especially if you've got a customer who wants it in a week. I mean, not that I would ever say it's possible. You can do it,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
more so if you ever make a mistake. But then the product is a great product as well, and I think most people in the industry will tell you the same about Origin. But what they've done now, they've really improved all their products. So I would say they're leaders in the bifold industry and French doors and the Soho range. They've done exceptional, and I'm always very proud of that company, because I always think I had a big part to play in the beginning. Not that they needed us; they would have always made it, but it was
yeah,
nice
yeah,
to do the journey, and they can say the same about us. They
yeah.
helped us massively throughout. So we both. When I saw Neil, I hadn't seen Neil for what, 5 years, probably 6 years, probably more than that. Just, yeah, it was just nice to see him and just reminisce about the early days as well.
Nice. And looking forward to the future this year, going for what are the trends and products and stuff that you're seeing?
To be honest with you, we have got a few things in the pipeline, but I'm keeping it quiet, because I think if people are listening to this, they're going to jump on it as well.
Yeah,
But I think we all feel the same
yeah,
about
yeah.
that. We always want to be the first to bring it out, but we've got two or three things that I think are going to be pretty amazing in the next year or so.
Nice.
But the architectural glazing is very popular. I would say that's a massive part of our business. That it is a very hard industry to be in, because potentially you could lose a lot of money in the architectural glazing business. You've got to make sure you have everything prepared properly. You're relying on the glass companies.
Yeah,
So it has to be done properly. So that one is exciting, but also it is one that you've got to really keep on top of,
yeah,
always try to improve, but you've got to make sure you have the right glass companies. So important, but also the fitting teams, the preparation, the cranes, the surveying. That's evolving. There's new products coming out in that range, but there are also a few things that we're bringing out in the roof industry as well, which
okay.
is which will hopefully be in the next year or so.
Nice. And going back to yourself, if you were to speak to your younger self, right at the start of your career, what would you tell him? What would you tell
Stay clear.
a young Danny Creese?
Stay clear. I would say, seriously, I would. Look, it has its amazing moments,
Yeah,
but I think my personality, if someone was like me, probably shouldn't be in it, because I worry too much. I take everything. I absorb all the emotion, the good stuff, the bad stuff, the stressful stuff, everything. And
yeah,
it sometimes it has taken its toll on me. I'm not going to lie,
yeah,
but the good thing of being like that, when you do have good things, you do get the endorphins, the serotonins, as I say, from the industry.
yeah,
But if I was to do it all over again, I would certainly do something that involved less hours, and it's affecting a lot of my personal life, this job, or
yeah.
this company. But you know what? I'm sure there's many people that say the same.
Yeah, 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 definitely. What would you have done? What do you think if you could, change your career, what would you have gone down, do you think?
Well, the best advice I give to my children, I always say, do something that you love and try and make a career out of it,
Yeah,
rather than the other way around. I think we, as parents, you always feel you want your children to be happy. Me personally, I would have probably, I would have liked to got in it sounds not the porn industry, movie industry. I would like to. I love movies, and I always look at movies. I always think I could direct a movie. Not that I could, because I don't know anything about it. But if I was
yeah.
if I was an actor or something like that, I'd love to have been in the movie industry, like producing movies or something.
Nice.
But that's just a passion. I'm not saying I'd be any good at it. I've never been tried or tested.
Yeah, but you didn't do glazing before you started, and you've been a success. So you don't know how much of a success you'd have been.
I've always had this motto, to be fair. If you work harder than everybody else, right, and you listen, never think you're better than everybody else. If you think, like I remember going on site and I remember thinking, watch people fit stuff from other companies, and you think, God, rubbish, rubbish, rubbish. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Ah, hello. One tiny little thing. And then you look at all the things that go wrong and look at all the things that go well and then pick the right bits. And if you always, and because I've got terrible OCD, I always used to think, whatever I did, I would always be the best at. And that's not always the case, of course. There's plenty of people better than me and everything. But if you work harder than everybody else, what I'd lack in other things, and just be it's a borderline obsession for the good things that you do. It actually, you can do anything you want in life.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it.
Mm.
And lastly, what kind of legacy do you personally want to leave, and for your company you want to leave once you do hang up the pad and pen now, but hang up the pass the business on to other people.
Trusting and caring. That's what I'd like, because I am trusting. I'm a word. If I say something, I actually back it up, and so much so to my own detriment sometimes. And trusting is, I like people to feel that they can come to me, and especially
Yeah,
in this industry, whether it's manufacturers, whether it's, well, majority of customers, I work off trust. And I like them to think, you know what, at least when they give us their money, they're trusting. We're not just there, take, take, take. Because I always think it's
yeah,
like a relationship, isn't it? If, everyone's your best friend when they give you their money, but at the end of the day, things go wrong all the time,
yeah, yeah,
and it's how you make it right, how you put it right. I mean, God, we've done some nightmare stuff that's gone wrong. You just can't make it up. Where the
yeah,
glass has been wrong, the paintwork's been wrong, the fitting wasn't great because one of the guys was having a bad day. But you know what? It may have cost me thousands, but we put it all right in the end
yeah,
because people put their trust in us, and
yeah.
that's the horror story. Obviously, the majority of stuff goes well, but trust. That's what I'd like people to say. You know what? They're a trusting company.
Nice. Yeah, but I think you're bang on. I think no company is going to be 100% right all the time,
No,
but it's that what you do after when things do go wrong. Obviously, not to that extreme, but even when little things go, what you do in that moment, I think makes a company more successful. Is their ability to rectify it. Hold their hands up and say, "Sorry, we made a mistake, but here's how we're going to fix it," rather than, "Oh no, sorry, we're
yeah,
done with you now."
exactly. Well, if you look at all the
Nice.
companies
Oh,
that have been around, like our competitors, like, I mean, I don't care mention names, like Express Bifolds,
yeah,
even Maxlight, even HPD, they've all got the similar mentality in the sense that, I know for a fact, I hear stories that all the horror stories, I'm not going to mention the ones with the horror stories because it's not
mhm,
fair, but
yeah,
they're similar in the sense that they've been around for a while because for a reason that they sometimes have to swallow, they have to swallow a lot of money to put things right, or they get there in the end. Nothing's perfect. And the
no,
ones that have been around, like especially Express, because they've always been a big competitor to ours since day one, really.
yeah,
I know that, well, I used to know briefly the guy I met at the shows and that, but you can just tell they're decent people. And I think that's general. If you look at all the companies that stayed in business, they're the ones that literally are more like they care more about the reputation than they do making quick money. That's
yeah,
essentially what I mean.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Danny. We're going to move on to our this or that round. So yeah, it's just if you've watched
Okay.
every episode before, it's just I'll ask you a question and it's either this or that, and the first thing that comes to your head.
Okay.
So I think you've answered this in the main part, but are you an early starter or a late finisher? I'm guessing both, probably with you.
Both.
Yeah, nice.
Super early and super late.
Are you an innovator or more on reliability?
Reliability, but I have my moments.
Yeah, nice. Are you a phone call person or an email person?
Phone call.
Nice. Coffee or tea?
Neither. Water.
Mornings or evenings?
Both. I'm allowed to say both for that?
Yeah. No, it's
Uh,
not. I'm not going to hold you to it. Don't worry. Are you a routine person or a bit of a variety in your life?
Routine. There you go. Said it. I love routine.
Are you a risk taker or risk manager?
Risk manager.
Nice. Always on time or always prepared?
Always on time.
Nice. And lastly, are you a city break person or a countryside retreat person?
Countryside.
Nice.
I grew up in Devon.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're
yeah.
used to it. No. For our last part of the podcast, we get guests to give a shout out to people. It can be people in the industry, out the industry, friends, family, you name it. So yeah, who are your shout out or shout outs for?
Well, I'll give it to my family. They stuck. Well, I say they stuck with me. They've sacrificed a lot. Um, so I won't mention any names. They don't like to be named. But that's my two girls, my wife, and also I would like to Marcus, who was massive for me, especially in the early days. Frustrating as hell, but he taught me so much. Just taught me so much. He really did. He taught me how to never take things personally, even though I still do, but just to like, that's life. Things happen. Just move on and just do the best you can. Also to my new directors, Adrian Stewart, that have been on me 3 years. They've really, really pushed me way out of my comfort zone. I don't even think we'd have the showroom, or well, I definitely would have done the rebrand, which I think is one of the best things we've done. And to all my staff, of course, I can't name everyone else. And Origin and Aluco.
Perfect. Well, thanks very much, Danny. Yeah, it's been really great to have you on the show and hear about you and your career and the company.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the time.
No problem at all. So you can find this episode and all others on our website at www.peopleinglazing.co.uk, on our YouTube channel at People in Glazing Society, and also available to download on Amazon Music, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And whilst you're there, please don't forget to like and subscribe so you make sure you never miss an episode. Thanks again for tuning in, and see you again soon.